Hey, my peeps, I'm back with another video. Unfortunately, I have some sad news to report. Clyde Nicholas McKnight, aka affectionately known as Nico, did unfortunately pass last week. I don't know what date it was. I don't know if it was Thursday last week, Friday, or whatever, but they started reporting on it. I want to say Saturday because Brian McKnight was trending on X, formerly known as Twitter. People were like, just, I mean, tearing his name up. Okay, saying they don't want him to have another red cent. It's given to you do right by me. Everything you think about gonna crumble. People were literally posting the silly memes and gifs from Color Purple. Yeah, people were like absolutely livid that, he hadn't said nothing. Everybody knows, that does know the back history knows that his I can't even say former kids because they're his children. It's just sad and it's wild. But him and his first set of kids, they've had unfortunately a very tumultuous relationship background, and I'm gonna get into it. So y'all grab y'all snacky snacks, your lunch, your din, your brunch. If you them type of people that like brunch at night or whatever, we're gonna get into it. But from what I understand and remember, this started. I want to say this started maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think Ron McKnight Jr. had said that he was like abandoning them or something like that. So we're gonna get into that video now of Brian's response to that, Brian Senior rather.
And it wasn't like I completely cut them off at that point. That happened much later. But I've been there. When I put them out of my house, I gave them an apartment for 2 years. And I said, guys, this is it. This is the time to grow up. I'm giving you 2 years. I'm going to pay for everything for 2 years, but you're going to have to work or do something because at the end of those 2 years, that's going to be it. It's time to be men here, guys. It's time to grow up. At the end of those 2 years, they hadn't done any of it. It was just right around the time that Leilani and I had gotten together. Leilani was working at Children's Hospital. And let's be clear, Leilani has been one of the only people who's been an advocate to keeping us together, to keeping us having a relationship because she wants to have the nuclear family as much as I did. And they have spit in her face at every turn. She got them jobs at the hospital, $18 an hour with benefits and with the option of the hospital actually paying for them to go back to school. They said, and I quote, that they knew they didn't want to stop smoking and they would have to pass a drug test. And the day I had the doctors looking into it, Miko's on there, taking a big puff, which is fine. If you want to smoke, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's bad. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But what I'm telling you is that we have been advocates for them every step of the way. Now let's go to the part where we have been estranged. Again, we talk about abandonment. I'm not abandoning them. We are estranged, which happens more often than not in this particular situation. BJ broke into our home a few months ago and he put X's on the eyes of our wedding photos. And then he put a photo of my first wedding on Leilani's vanity. It was at that moment. And after I heard him say and was pointed to from other friends of mine that saw his.
All right, so I think this is the post that he was referring to as far as the whole, everybody went on social media and was talking about the abandoning and all of that. So yeah, I remember this starting and happening around like 2020, right? Like pandemic time or whatever. And I don't know if he did an interview too, but I think it was mainly this post right here. Y'all can pause to read or whatever. But then that kind of started all the back and forth. Nico didn't really say a lot. I know Brianna also did a post too. Okay, and this is Brianna McKnight's post. You can pause to read this as well. So Brian Jr. and Brianna started like posting the whole, he don't really do us and all this and all of that. So then that prompted him to do the video I just showed. But then when he said F them kids, he really said F them kids. Any and everything you saw at that point was Leilani, Jack, Jill, whatever Leilani's daughter's name is, and his new son, Brian Official Jr. Yeah, we're gonna get into that too. Everything was them, like and when I say everything, I do mean everything. He was really about that life for real. Now let's get into the Leilani times. Like, I hope he got that copyrighted. Yes, he does a whole post for the whole 28 days of February for his new queen, honey, and it's given very much this.
The ones that do, the only ones that speak to me are the ones that I've written since Leilani came into my life because those are the only ones that have a meaning. Wow. Sure, there were big hits before then, but they weren't based on anything because I never even liked anyone before I met her.
Oh, wow.
The first time I felt my heartbeat was the day that she came into my life. So everything that I wrote before then wasn't based on anything romantic. It was just it was arithmetic.
Well, golly. So, do I ever cross your mind? Anytime. Apparently, Julie did not cross his mind anytime. Do you hear me? Not now time. And I start back at one. I was just making syllables and doggone arithmetic, baby. Bump y'all, okay? All the hits in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the early 2010s before he met his queen, wasn't about nothing. You did? So then, like I said, he continued on with his posts and his rants about churn being products of sin in his former life. I was Joan of Arc in my former life. I wish I had a lighter to do my hair. If you get the reference from Coming to America, then you know. But yeah, he just went on this whole tirade, like for the last 5 years, about the new churn being the new kids on the block. He literally changed his whole entire name to match his new baby's name. Yes, he did that as well. So we're going to get back to the matter at hand. Just trying to give context to the whole entire story. So this was absolutely gut wrenching. If you pause to read, this is what Nico has, I think, on his Twitter. I think he posted that last year, and it's just very sad. I know there are always three sides to a story. They side, the other side, and the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Not saying that the kids were perfect, not saying that Brian was perfect, or whatever the case may be. But I really pray and hope that they were able to get some type of amends before Nico left his earthly body, because it's just very sad. But this was Brian McKnight's response about a day or two ago regarding the whole entire situation.
Big thanks to Claude McKnight's tasteless and self-aggrandizing announcement on TikTok that frankly was not his to make. In my opinion, he inserted himself and used Nico's death as an opportunity instead of letting him pass with respect and dignity. It has instead turned into a circus, a mockery of a life now lost, making this tragedy into a reality show type drama. While that was unfolding, my family and I flew home to Maui and had a private memorial remembering him and all the good times. The last time he and I spoke, we offered him all the help we could provide. We had the number one oncologist on deck for him and a team of specialists on standby with private care in our home. He and his mother declined. The door of communication was open and remained open until his death. To the self-proclaimed mama bear, may God have mercy on your soul for not allowing him to accept that help and not allowing him to use that line of communication. There is great comfort in knowing God knows the truth and the totality of the whole story. I am truly thankful for the immense peace God has given me, and I've left everything in his hands. I have a clear conscience. The only judgment that matters is God's. My wife, our children, and I are eternally thankful to Almighty God that the suffering has come to an end and grateful for all of your condolences. Thanks to those of you who have known the truth from the beginning and haven't let untruths, half-truths, or slander prejudice your opinion. There were two posts from Brian and Brianna in 2019 telling the world a completely different narrative for the reason why. I never abandoned anyone. Our estrangement was mutual, but those posts made any roads towards reconciliation and acknowledging them a dead issue. And I changed my will the next day. I've spent the last 30 plus years building a recognized, respectable name, and ironically, there are still people out there who are trying to smear my name while still carrying it, hoping to use it for their own benefit. I make absolutely no apologies for naming my infant son Brian. I want him and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy.
So I tried to do the best I could to include everything. I know it was long. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Leave your comments, concerns, questions, and everything in between in the comments. Let me know if y'all want a part two. And let's truly, truly pray for true healing and reconciliation for everybody involved. Again, RIP Nico. Um, yeah, that's all I got, child. Because I'm wild. I'm wild for real. Love y'all. And yes, it's giving low key, high key narcissistic teas as well. But again, it's always three sides to every story. So again, hoping for prayers and reconciliation and true, true healing to take place. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.